Hey, this is Dimitri. I hope you can hear me. I'm out here and you can't really see because the light's not working, but it's actually very nice out. And there's the town of Madison right behind me. And I just wanted to talk some today about the ant and the grasshopper. Do you remember the ant and the grasshopper story? This story messed with me so bad as a kid, and I realize now that there's actually kind of a moral to it that I'm pretty sure wasn't intended. So bear with me here. So the ant and the grasshopper, I'm a little kid, I'm reading this book, and here's the grasshopper. The grasshopper likes to have fun and play his banjo all the time and just, party and relax and feel good about things and enjoy his life. And then there's the ant, and the ant is always working. Work, work, work. The ant works like 10, 20 hours a day, constantly working. And the grasshopper's just having a good time, and the ant's working, okay? And then I'll never forget the last page of the book. It's the ant like starving. No, the grasshopper is out in the snow starving because he didn't plan ahead. And he didn't work. And the ant is sitting inside with his feet up on a cushion, with the fire and drinking his tea. And the moral of the story is be the ant, don't be the grasshopper. Well, that's not the most insane thing I've ever heard. As a kid, it's sort of like it presented me this choice. It's like, well, do you want a life of suffering all the time where you're successful and happy? Or do you want a life where you enjoy yourself but you end up freezing to death in the snow outside of the ant's house? So, and I remember as a kid it upset me. I thought, oh crap, because I'm basically the grasshopper. I'm the grasshopper. I'm not the ant sitting inside after doing years and years of work. I'm the grasshopper. I like to enjoy myself. In fact, while my father had many great qualities, one of the ones that I didn't like was he was really offended by the fact that I wanted to enjoy my life and to have things be easy. He was really offended by that. And it was a big point of contention between us when I really look back, that he wanted me to grow up and be the ant. He wanted me to survive, I suppose, and all that. But I have more kind of grasshopper tendencies. So I was thinking about this because I woke up at 4 a.m. Last night. I woke up and I was like, this is no good. I woke up at 4 a.m. and I was like, you know what? I'm not up to doing what needs to be done in my life. And I think we all feel that way sometimes. So I got up and I went in the living room and I sat and I just meditated for a while, which I often do in the middle of the night. And I really came to see that there's like a spectrum of people. And it's good to know where you are on this spectrum. And on the one end is ant, and on the other end is grasshopper. But the good and bad really isn't part of it. So let's see if I can explain this. That I am a person who, left to my own devices, doesn't really get much done. I am not hugely self-motivated. What I am motivated by is inspiration, by connection to the divine, by feeling like I'm one with all things, like all this spiritual stuff. When I'm lined up that way, I have generativity, I have power, I have the ability to do things. But it's very clear to me that doesn't come from my own effort. That from me comes from somewhere else. And for me to get things done, I need to tune into that somewhere else and be given everything that I need to make it kind of through the harsh winter as that grasshopper, because I'm not a guy who's going to be able to just do it by my own willpower. But there's a spectrum, right? I'm at one of the far ends of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is like ant. Right? And I know folks like this, and they're great people, and there's nothing wrong with their approach. But their way of being is more like I know a guy who he's not really happy unless he faces death one way or another about once a week. And wants to see it. Is he up to it? Can he stand it? And he coaches people, and his coaching for people is always do the hard thing, do the terrifying thing. You join his coaching program, you're lying in bathtubs full of ice, and you're jumping out of airplanes. You're doing the terrible. You're making yourself to really see what you're capable, right? And that to me is more the ant end of the spectrum. And that's fine. It's good. It's all good. What's bad is when you don't know where you are on the spectrum. Because if you're one of these people who's like me, like I'm way far on the I have to be spiritually motivated to act end. So far that if I try and be an ant and I try and force myself, I get sick, things break in my body, my ears go crazy, bad things happen to me if I try to force myself. Would I prefer to be more on the ant end? You bet. But who I am is someone who, if I want to get things done, I have to spiritually tune in and tune up. So I'm given everything, including the motivation and the generativity to move forward. And I know I'm like this blank slate. It has to be given to me. But you may be on the other end. You may be one of those folks where feeling your personal power and breaking through and forcing yourself to do it and having the outcome and celebrating, that may be you. And that's a great way to be if it's true about you. Like I say, the problem comes when you don't know where you are on that spectrum and you try to be someone you're not. If you're a push through and make it happen kind of person and you try and be like a spiritual, I'm going to sit in meditation and watch the sunrise and wait until it's given to me to act, you're going to go crazy. And if you're one of these people who's like me, who's like, I need to be actually kind of guided by my inner guidance and motivated by my inner inspiration or nothing's going to happen, you're going to go crazy if you try and be a tough guy and force your way through. And if you're somewhere in between, you kind of need to know where you are. So I really want to encourage you to think about, where are you on this spectrum? Are you somebody who, like there's a great Rumi quote that I really love. He talks about, he's speaking from the point of view of God. And he says, we God speaks in the third person, we realize that the path is long and that it's 100,000 miles to the first way station. And we have given you very weak legs. But it is when you have exerted your all and our won't, and are lying flat on the path, that's when we will come and pick you up and carry you. So I always like that because I feel like it doesn't take very many steps for me to be flat down lying in the mud saying help, because that's just my constitution. Constitutionally, I'm not a barrel through and make it happen kind of guy. So it's good for me to know I can be picked up and lifted. But it's also good for you to know if you're a fight through guy, be a fight through guy and do it and enjoy it. So anyway, that's the only thing I wanted to give you for today. If you have some thoughts on this, please leave them in the comments or share this if you want, but know where you are in the spectrum. Don't try and be a tough guy if you're not one. And don't try and be real super spiritual if you're a tough guy. And if you're somewhere in between, get a sense of where you're 70%, 50%, 30%, where are you on that? And let yourself be the way that you are. It's just going to work a lot better. So until next time, this is Dimitri signing out.